What if I told you there is a trading robot that hasn't had a losing basket of trades in over 3 years, and one of its strategies has never had a loss since 2015? Today, I'm reviewing the Ranger Expert Advisor from the Powerhouse Bundle, a strategy so consistent that it hasn't been changed since it was created nearly a decade ago. Stick around until the end because I will show you real money results and maybe one of the most reliable EAs you've never heard of. Welcome back to the channel, I'm Marin, and today we are diving deep into the Ranger Expert Advisor. This isn't just another EA review. We've been testing this robot on both demo and live accounts, and the results might surprise you. I'll actually show you real trading data, explain the strategy behind it, and give you the honest pros and cons. But first, if you're serious about algorithmic trading and want to become a professional trader, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we review the best expert advisor in the market every week. Okay, so I am at the Academy website under the live accounts for our VIP club. And here I will use the search to type the name of the robot which we're going to review today. And this is the Ranger from the Powerhouse Bundle. So here's the live account that we have with Black Bull Markets. It started with $1,000 and currently it's on a 7% gain, above 7%, with cost profit $73.74. If I scroll down to the right side, where's the track record? Before I click that, you can see that the account has been running over 4 months now and it made about 120 trades. So let me show you the track record right now. So here we can see the account started on the 9th of April with $1,000. The cost profit is the same which I showed you before. And if I scroll down, you can see actually the monthly return is 1.7%. And we have also trade win rate of above 70%. Something else interesting here you will see, and I'll explain that in a second. The strategy trades two currency pairs, the Aussie CAD and Pound Canadian, and the majority of the trades come from the Pound Canadian. And then if we go to the floating profit and loss here, you can see that the strategy is pretty stable, nothing big. It's currently in a floating loss, but it's not big again. If I go to the stats and go to the charts to show you that, and if we go to the floating profit and loss hourly, you can see that actually since the beginning of the account it has never reached minus 1% drawdown. Even now with the open trades, because we already have gained some profits here, we are not that big in the drawdown. So for almost 4 months, less than minus 1% is the peak drawdown, which is pretty stable for this kind of strategy. And if I go to the monthly stats here, you can see that the first month actually it wasn't full month, so it brought almost 1% profit, and then we have 3%, 1.5%, and we are currently half of the month at 0.5%. So if I go now to the overview again, and I will then switch to the orders, and you can see the open orders we're talking about, and that they are overall on a small loss at the moment, but nothing huge. This is pretty normal for the strategy, and I'll explain how it works. Let's go to the close orders to analyze the strategy in detail, and I'll just zoom a little bit here, and also the duration is something which I like to look at the strategies. So what we have here, we can see the first trade, it opened here and then closed on the same day, like hour after that. So it made 10 pips profit. Then the second trade also opened and closed in the same day, and again it made around 10 pips of a profit. And then we have a sequence of trades. You can see they opened at different times and they all closed here at that period. And if you sum up the pips, this is around 15 pips of a profit. Then we have a trade sequence with the Aussie CAD. You can see the sequence when it closed here and all the open trades. This one actually closed on a loss around minus 15 pips. And then we have another sequence with the same asset which closed on a profit above 15 pips. Then we have again trade for 10 pips profit, 10 pips profit, and this is something that we will see a lot in the strategy. It targets 10-15 pips of a profit. So how this strategy works? Well, this isn't some complex indicator heavy strategy. In fact, it uses only two indicators, the average true range to measure market volatility and the relative momentum index to identify momentum shifts and potential reversal points in the market. Both indicators focus on price movement and momentum, which gives the EA a more responsive approach to market conditions. The Ranger strategy actually was developed back in 2015 by responsible forex trading, making it one of the oldest public strategies in the forex space. And guys, this is what makes the strategy unique. It uses a 20 pips flex grid system. So this isn't just a typical fixed grid. It can adapt grid size based on market volatility. And this is what we have seen actually here in these trades, where it made bigger profits and then also lower profits. And then if we scroll down and continue looking, analyzing the trades, you can see that there were some trades with with the pound Canadian where it made around 15, 20 to 25 pips of a profit. So the default 10-15 pips plus this flex grid about 20 pips. Also, another important thing about this strategy is that it doesn't use any trend filters. Instead, it focuses on finding market reversals at tops and bottoms. This counter-trend approach might sound risky, but the track record speaks for itself. Okay, so we've seen the stats about this Vive account. Now let me show you the vendor's track record. So I'm here on the Responsible Forex Trading website, and this is the developer of the Powerhouse EAs, and one of those 6 strategies included in this one trading bot is the Ranger strategy, together with the Sharpshooter, with the Vigorous, and few other strategies that we've been trading at the Academy. So if I go to Expert Advisors and then Powerhouse EA, and then scroll down a little bit, you can see the 6 different strategies here. You can see more stats, the Sharpshooter, the Vigorous. Actually, the Sharpshooter had a drawdown recently, and I recorded a video about that, and you can find it in the description below, or if you search for the recent videos in our channel. But besides that, we have the Vigorous, and here's the Ranger, guys, and you can see the track record. And something very important, actually, which I read on their website, and I asked Ryan, who's the developer, asked it about that, is that they have never run the Ranger on its sole track account throughout the year. So sadly, we won't be able to see this 10 years track record. But what we have here actually is their track record, which starts from the 30th of October last year. And for that period, which is less than 1 year, the EA made around 12% profit. So this is expected from this strategy, but what I like the most is the drawdown, guys. You can see how stable is the strategy. The peak drawdown it had in Ryan's account is less than 2% from the 30th of December, and this one recovered. And currently also the account is in the same drawdown like ours, and it's about 1% here. So I'll scroll down a little bit to see the summary and more stats. You can see here that he's trading also the Aussie Cat and Pound Canadian, which are the 2 assets traded by this robot. And you can see the total number of trades, the short, the long trades. And something which is very interesting to me is the success rate, the won rate actually. And you can see that the Pound Canadian made over 8% profitable trades, which is pretty solid. And this is the more stable strategy according to me. But don't take this as a recommendation, guys. Now, before I show you more stats about this trading robot, let me tell you about Black Bull Markets, the broker where we're currently trading this year with real money. And yes, this is a sponsored segment, but we only partner with platforms we actually use. So Black Bull Markets were good enough to offer our community something most brokers don't. Institutional account access for just $2,000 instead of the usual $20,000. The difference this makes is huge. You get tire spreads, lower commissions, and professional grade trading conditions that directly impact your bottom line. Here's what makes them perfect for EA trading. They are fully regulated, support both MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, and have no restrictions on automated trading strategies. Whenever you're running grid-based EAs or any other algorithm, their platform handles it smoothly. The reduced trading costs really add up over time. When you are running multiple strategies or high-frequency trades, those lower spreads and commissions can significantly boost your actual returns. I've been using their platform for my own trading, and the cost saving have definitely improved my performance. For grid-based EAs like the one I'm showing today, Black Bull's stable execution and competitive pricing make it the ideal choice. You can focus on your strategy without worrying about excessive trading costs eating your profits. Check out Black Bull Markets using the link below to get institutional grade conditions with this low entry barrier offer. Now I want to show you another account that we have with the Ranger EA, and this is actually a demo account. So again, under our VIP Coop accounts, I will start typing the Ranger name, and you can see it says Ranger Multi-Currency System, and I will explain that in a second when I show you the account on the MetaTrader terminal. You can see the initial balance of this demo account is $1,000, and currently it stands at $1,062, and it made actually a profit of 6.29%. So here the numbers are not correct. The reason for this is that the demo account here starts with $100,000 and we withdraw $99,000. So we simulate $1,000 account, especially with this broker. This is why it looks like this, but overall you can get the idea, and we'll see the track record actually now. This account is running for 70 days and it made almost 100 trades. And if I open the track record now to show you what's happening here, I'll show you something interesting. Here we have the Euro-Aussie pair, and I'll show that in the MetaTrader platform and explain what's happening here. Overall, still, this is a profitable combination. If I go to the stats then, and I go to the charts, and I go to the floating profit and loss, you can see that we had some bigger floating loss here. And And the reason for this drawdown actually is the experiment which I was running with non-typical currency pair for this EA. So if I filter here the Euro-Aussie pair and then go to the floating profit and loss, you can see that 8% drawdown here. But if I look only at the pound Canadian and also the Aussie CAD, you can clearly see what's happening on the demo account. So we reached -3, -4% few times, but this is because of the experiments. Actually, the Aussie CAD, I'm not trading it on the H1 time frame, but on the M30, and I'll show you that in a second. So here I'm on the MetaTrader platform with this demo account I'm running here, and what I explained earlier, guys. So you can see here the Aussie CAD. By default, the Aussie CAD should be traded on the H1 time frame, but here what I did, I am experimenting with the pound Canadian version, which trades on the M30 time frame, and I placed that one on the Aussie CAD M30 time frame. Don't take any of these guys as a recommendation. We are testing different combinations, different setups. We try to break the stuff here and also try to test and see what's working and what doesn't work. So with time, in this account, I was testing the Aussie CAD on H1 time frame with different currency pairs, and also I was testing the pound Canadian on M30 on different, again, assets, but with the same time frame. So it's very likely in this account in the future to add more currency pairs to test. Overall, the back test of the Ranger show good results on different assets and currency pairs, but with time, when I started to learn and explore how the strategy works, and when I contacted the vendor and asked about more details about the strategy, I understood that there are slight differences between the pound Canadian and Aussie CAD, and basically one of the biggest differences actually is that the pound Canadian is a grid strategy and the Aussie CAD is also a grid but with martingale element. So you can see that in the history of trades that the pound Canadian will always trade with the same lot, but the Aussie CAD can add to the position in the trade sequence. Alright, let's get into the pros and cons because no EA is perfect. First, the strategy is simple and robust. Only two indicators mean fewer things that can break. Complex strategies often fail when market conditions change, but Ranger's simplicity is its strength. Second, the profit targets are realistic. Taking around 15 pips per sequence is much more sustainable than EAs promoting huge returns. This conservative approach is what allows for long-term consistency. Third, it's perfect for live trading accounts where you don't have daily drawdown restrictions. Grid strategies need breathing room to work properly, and brokers provide that. Finally, the developer has shown discipline by reducing profit targets to protect the strategy. This shows they prioritize volatility over short-term gains. If we talk about the negative things, the main downside is that this is still a grid strategy, which means it's vulnerable to strong trending markets. While the flex grid helps adapt to market volatility, no grid system is completely immune to extend directional moves. Second, the profits are relatively modest. If you're looking for get-rich-quick returns, this isn't for you. Ranger is about steady, sustainable growth. Third, it's limited to just two currency pairs. You can experiment with additional pairs like I did, but the focused approach has clearly worked out for consistency. Finally, the biggest disappointment to me is the lack of long-term track record. It's frustrating that we can see 10 years of verified performance data, especially knowing that the pound Canadian has never had a losing basket. That would have been incredible social proof for the strategy's effectiveness. So what's my final verdict on the Ranger Expert Advisor? If you're looking for a steady, consistent profit and you have the patience for a long-term approach, Ranger is definitely worth considering. The track record speaks for itself, and my live results confirm that it worked as advertised. However, make sure you understand what you're getting into. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a marathon runner and not a sprinter. If you want to try Ranger yourself, I'll put a link to the Powerhouse Bundle in the description. And if you're interested in the offer that Black Bull Markets offer to our subscribers, there is a link for that too. So what do you think about grid-based strategies? Have you ever tried the Ranger EA yourself? Let me know in the comments below. And if this review was helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more honest reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.